Okay. Let
Yeah,
me know when you see my screen.
not
Not yet.
yet. You need to click
Oh,
on
what's going on?
share screen button.
Yeah. Sorry, I think my laptop's sleeping as well. It's very hard to
No.
get out. All right, I think
No.
it's on. Morning, laptop.
Good morning.
Is coming.
All right,
It's
so
loading.
maybe I just go through what I've
That is great.
was thinking about yesterday. So, a lot of things I was thinking about, things that are happening recently, like like forest fires and you know, and then so it just actually prompted me to start looking for things. So interestingly enough, it actually started with a paper. It's a white paper on frequency of forest fires in Southeast Asia. And then I was reading through, so that's how I started like looking at where they are getting some data. So the first one was this ENET one, which is the acid deposition rules. And over here, they give you an overview of like monitoring system on various things. So if you look at it, they give you a whole range from data right from 2000 to 2023, and you decide on what you are looking at. Was it let's say maybe soil and vegetation, wet annual, and it
Wow.
all came out in Excel spreadsheet. So I thought it was very interesting because depending on how what kind of climate phenomenon is happening, usually the changes of the surroundings will be affected as well. So I just put it in. So for example, like like the recent earthquake in Bangkok. So apparently someone was in Bangkok and they said the one thing they noticed was all the birds will fly away. So there was some sort of an indicator that it's not visible to human beings, but it's visible to animals. But then again, it's obviously there's some indicators that maybe from the environment. So I collected all this anyway, and hopefully maybe someone will one day find a link to all this. Um, yeah. Do you want me to open any of this, or do you want me to go on to the next website?
Just a general overview is good. A
Yeah.
next website, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Well,
the
But
next
I would
one,
say one thing. So in this project, the data is made available only as Excel files, right? So there's
yes.
no particular database, overall database that can be scraped or with an API or something like that, right?
Um, I have no idea how to do that. But yeah. But I
So
just
that's
see that
I
maybe
think
there's some.
yeah, that's an issue of how usable the data will be by other people. So I think this is good though. But it's good. I agree.
yeah.
And this is specific and very focused on a specific environmental issue, which is really, really good, I think. Yeah.
But the way it's
Okay.
presented by year with the tab, I think it is quite nice and very clear. So even if it's not like
Uh,
API for
little
the general public,
tabs.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I mean it's quite easy to read for the general
Yeah.
public, I think.
Okay. So let's move on to the next one is so actually Samantha, my friend, helped me with some of the things. So this is one of the ones that she came up with. So
Mm.
apologize on the miscommunication. I thought she could come in full time, but no, she couldn't. Yeah, but she helped me a little bit from time to time. So this is the one that she came out on Climate Engine. And so this is the one I think is you're
Mm.
talking about that's available in app and
Right.
API.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I thought it was very good because NASA, Google was using it as well. I just
Yeah.
need to find where the
So
where the
it'll be
data is.
in these, as you know, particularly ones that are sponsored or funded by American agencies, because of all of those being eliminated. Uh,
Yeah.
Interesting. That's another thing we kind of need. I mean, this is part of it. So what happens to this kind of initiative? If there's any information there about that, that's be interesting to know. what changes they expect because of elimination. For instance, NOAA, that's almost going to be not totally destroyed, but almost totally destroyed. And
Hmm.
other agencies also are not going to be doing this kind of thing anymore. So um, we'll see. We have to see what's happening with them.
All right, so moving
But
on
this
to
is good.
this one. Um, so I had the Singapore Open Data Portal. That's
Hmm.
on the pollution index standards. I don't know if anyone was interested, but I thought just let's put something in to give up a little bit of a variety. So maybe I want to open that one. The next one, it's the lens one.
Hmm.
So this one looks interesting. I didn't know how to. I don't know what kind of data it is, but
Very
um,
useful. We
Yeah.
use it
but
a
yeah.
lot.
So I thought it was cool, and someone would probably know how to decipher this because it shows you the
Yeah.
forest fires,
Right.
the active, yeah, the active fires and all the red warnings. So it's like a, I
Yes.
don't know, is it considered a heat map or what? But yeah,
Yeah, it's basically from satellite observations,
yeah.
and um, you can sort of see on the upper right, there's a basic mode and there's a more detailed mode, and you can look at it over time. You can move the timeline and see what changes. And there's several satellites. You see Landsat, VIIRS, and MODIS. These, have different, different capabilities or different areas they look at. So this is a very, very useful website, both for climate, also for conflict. During the Ukraine war, we were looking at this a lot. This shows basically what places are being bombed and attacks are happening as well. So it's a
Mm.
very, very useful website.
Cool.
I don't know how the data is
Literally,
accessible or downloadable. Usually we
Yeah,
just
I
shares it as a screen, as an image.
yeah, that's the thing. I'm not
Mm,
too
mm,
sure as well, but
yeah.
um, don't worry, someone will figure it out.
Mhm.
Um, Now I'm looking at the rest. I'm just wondering, did I do the rest? I'm looking. Sorry, I started doing it at night, so I don't think I've done the. I think the rest is done by someone else.
Uh-huh.
Um.
Work
Okay.
in progress.
I mean,
Mhm.
sorry. Do I? I can just open it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was a bit late at night. I wasn't sure, but okay. I think this is done by someone else on and toxic pollutants.
Hey guys,
hey
yeah, this
David,
Morning.
how are you
this is a
doing?
cool website. This one, I think.
All right. Oh, who's David? David, do you edit this in?
Yeah. Hey Alvina.
All
Yeah, I
right.
found this one maybe like a couple of hours ago.
Hey,
All
David.
right.
It's got loads of stuff.
Mm.
Um, I wonder if it overlaps with some of the other files or the
So
location.
you want to take us through the whole thing because basically we're just going through what we found with them.
Cool.
Yeah. So just let me know where to click and then
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this one on the three dots, I haven't downloaded any files yet. Oh, sorry, the three lines on the right hand side.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, that allows you to download a CSV file, but then
Oh,
or yeah, XLS exactly too. And then
Mhm.
actually view data table is a good section. So that shows you the layout of the table. Um,
okay. All right.
yeah, it was on that same menu.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
You
You want to
know,
go
quite
on to
strict.
the next one?
do you know, do they collect themselves the data, or this is more like an aggregator? Because that's like a European like government website almost. Like it's the European Commission, right?
Yeah,
Official website,
exactly.
European Union.
Yeah.
It's super interesting
Exactly.
that the European Commission also acts as a data portal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big part of their mandate, and to
Yeah.
make it open data.
Interesting.
Interesting. So this is I'm looking at this on my own browser. This is really good. Maps and archive data sets. I'll go see archive data sets page. Um,
I put it in the
Yeah,
chat.
we have
Yeah,
archives,
yeah,
from 1970 until a couple of years ago,
yeah.
in in several categories. So, yeah, I'm not sure what the format of those is, but but great. So this is a very nice project, Data Explorer.
Uh,
Cool.
so next one is um
I've been
space.
sorry. I've been reorganizing them. Sorry, as you click. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this the space one that I guess you can click onto something.
Hmm.
Uh, whose is this? Is this
I
like a code?
I didn't see the name
Raw
of it, so I
data.
was changing my screen at the time. But for the link, if it's space weather, I was definitely looking at space weather. Um, and on the website, on the website is might be a different site, but one of them had the chart that's on the website, and then JSON files that are available. So I'll try if it's the same one I was looking, I'll see if there's a better link that goes to what's shown on the website.
Mhm.
Space weather predictions and yeah,
Okay.
if
All right.
that's one.
Okay. Um, which one? The last one? Is
I
that the
think
last one I clicked? So
I think for the space weather, I found the page that looks more dashboardy with more data. I'll put it in the I'll put it in the chat so you could see. So what you're looking just now, David and Alvina, was the raw data.
Hmm.
And
okay.
if you click on this link, I'll just put it in the chat. You can see like a dashboard that renders this data.
Oh, cool.
Mm.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice to
Again,
call it enthusiasm. Sorry.
NOAA, National Weather Service. We should expect this data to disappear, I think.
yeah.
It's US government data, so we should expect it to disappear.
Which is crazy.
Mm.
So yeah, anyway,
Yeah. Hmm.
So it's not. So is that like the obsoleting data? Is that the um
Pardon?
process?
Didn't quite hear the last couple of words.
Yeah, sorry. Is it that the US government's like obsoleting data or just
No, no, the US
closing all
government is
servers or
eliminating those agencies.
oh,
And the US government, as you know, under the Trump administration, this is one reason for this project as well, is they're eliminating the agencies and making the data unavailable. And um, Basically, official US government policy is that there's no such thing as climate change. And therefore, anything that could be motivated because of climate change has to be eliminated. So these things, a lot of data has already become unavailable. Many things, U.S. government. So this is an issue. So NOA is particularly on the chopping block. I think they've already fired. I can find out, but fired most of their staff already. So, which is crazy. They're the people who let you know when hurricanes are coming. You know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I
So
think it's scary how like a country just chooses to tap out from accountability and then it's like, oh, that's
this
it.
is totally different, and they will try to privatize it.
Yeah.
And then make money. So basically, it's just pure corrupt. Take the government apart and say, "Oh my God, it's broken. We have to hire Elon Musk to do this and give him more billions of dollars to do what the NOAA was doing." You know,
Mm.
and won't be as good and won't be as accountable or open. So anyway, it's a really bad situation. Um, but that's an issue. So
Mm.
these government sites, I think, are something that could be one priority. U.S. government sites is should be one priority, I think, for us.
Mm.
Um, and as you know, there are other projects. I mean, and sorry if I'm just starting to talk, but the data rescue project. Have you guys been looking at that? Because that's gotten a lot of you know publicity,
Mm.
and they are pretty. I mean, I'm looking at their list of backups, etc. Um, they're pretty. I don't know. Maybe we don't need to duplicate their work, but in terms of projects that we should probably try to somehow establish connection and coordination with, even if it's in the form of simply having, being a, you know, another backup of their data, that could be really, really helpful. Um,
Yeah. And that's also the way I see it. I think what I'd like to do is after I have a bit more stability is to go and volunteer in those groups and understand how they operate. The way I think about it is almost like OpenAI versus DeepSeek in China. One of the big ways that OpenAI and DeepSeek were different is that OpenAI is
mhm,
very big, huge investment, and it's very, very expensive to operate. And then you have DeepSeek, which has been sort of quietly collecting the data and building many smaller AI that are specialized. So instead of doing something very big and very expensive, they did a lot of like smaller, cheaper experiments, and now they have this quite high efficiency and low cost AI. And I think we could do the same. So instead of using cloud-based storage, like what all the other groups are doing, they're all using Data Row, or they're using Google Cloud, or they're using AWS, which is quite expensive to maintain over time. If we can have like a much cheaper backend and we're using torrents, then we can quote unquote like never die. I think that's the approach, is like quietly building a huge database of the raw data, keep it accessible. And so like this, when they run out of money, which will happen, I think, uh, then we can still be around and then continue to support them because we will still have the data. It's basically
mhm,
a gamble on longevity. Who's going to
mhm,
outlive the other? It's not about being the most flashy or the best. It's about like who can actually survive the longest
mhm.
time.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, I'm looking at this data rescue project, and they point people. They're using this Data Lumos. Have you been discussing that Data Lumos site?
No, what is that?
Okay, hang on. I'm just looking at them. I don't know much about, but I'll put it in the chat. The Data Rescue Project, basically, they are recommending that is basically where people are uploading data to from the Data Rescue Project. It seems.
It's university.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Institute for Social Research, University of Michigan. So we could
Mm.
find out more about this and about Data Lumos. I will look at that page.
Mhm. Yeah, that sounds very interesting. The Calinos, so you found this in which was it?
Maybe these are also
Oh,
good people to reach out to, and yeah. So ICPSR is the name of the organization, and it is they say they're a consortium of more than 800
yeah.
academic institutions and research organizations. They provide leadership and training in data access, curation, and methods of analysis for the social science research community. So it's not
Yeah.
necessarily climate data, but because as you know, I think um, the Data Rescue Project is also not really necessarily focused on climate. A lot of it is demographic and other data. So I think we make a kind of a distinction, right? We're not so interested in demographic data or that sort of thing. What do you think?
A really good question. I
We
think in
should note
my,
about it.
in my mind, yeah, in my mind, the first thing to do is to collect the data that's most endangered, whether
Yeah,
it's like hard climate data like temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure, or like sun activity, like
yeah,
the whole like sort of hard science, which I think are very much under threat.
yeah,
But then in my opinion, and I think you'd agree as because you're also coming from like an artistic background, is that not only the hard science matters, and also like social science and humanities also matter.
right,
Um, and so for me, I would cast a broad net personally, but we need
right.
to make sure that we label everything.
Yeah,
Uh, but all the data may not be computationally relevant. So, for example, like if we have like a lot of interviews from people who talk about their feelings about climate, then it's
hmm,
not like temperature, it's like it's a hard number. But I think increasingly with
hmm,
AI, this data become parsable.
hmm,
So that means that we can start to search inside of it or do even like natural language or sentiment analysis. So
yeah,
like even soft data can become a bit harder in the future
yeah.
in a way.
I think it is, but again, there's quite a lot of lot of data, right? So, let me see.
I'm looking
I'm
at the Data Lumos link. When you try to sign in, it's actually to University of Michigan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just also put a
they
link
have
for
a
the
real
data network, which is also linked through these other two projects. Um,
the data lumos that you share is really good. This is very be the first to verify, describe the data, add metadata, and add data and start uploading.
Yeah.
They have a really good, simple, which is very similar to
Yeah.
ours, I
It's
think.
good to follow for like the interface because it's really simple.
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking at data curation network,
Exactly.
and special interest groups and committees. Uh,
Mm,
like a big data interest group and sensitive data interest group, racial justice working group, et cetera. So again, a lot of this is social science, I think, but
yeah.
Yeah.
very, very useful in terms of, social science data is very fuzzy, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not just like a number on a graph, right? So
Mm,
I think
Mhm.
it could be very interesting to see. I will try to find out more about what they do and how they do that,
yeah.
but not particularly looking at climate, I think. So Rob looks like he's showing up.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Rob.
Cool. And like I guess the question from here is like, oh, what what next? Like for the next part,
Yeah,
maybe we can
yeah.
plan on a direction that we can all
They,
reconvene into.
they have the data creation network is working on something called the standard curation protocol, which I will look into and see what that involves. So um, for consistency. So anyway, I'll go look through that. Okay, and maybe there'll be something to share.
Yeah. Yeah, University of Minnesota.
Rob disappeared.
Oh.
Where?
Oh,
I just want
um,
to just
Hmm.
quickly in passing, I just wanted to share something. I think once we find those initiatives,
Yeah.
um, I also added something here that I think is going to be super key is the key people.
Right.
Uh, uh,
Mm,
Right.
because for example, like I found that at Harvard, they have this thing called the Harvard Dataverse, and there's
Mm.
basically one guy who's very angry at Harvard about what's happening, and
mm,
and he, I found that there's actually very few people who are doing the work that we're doing, but they're very,
Yeah.
very active. And they might
mm,
be having multiple affiliations. So, for example, he's at Harvard, but he's also part of this NGO group, Public Environmental Data Partner. And um,
Right.
and there's this, all these two people, Eric Nost, Alejandro
Mhm.
Bas. These two guys are also very active. Um,
Mhm.
I found actually there's only a few people in the world that are actually trying to to save this kind of data. And
Mhm.
so
mm,
if we can find them, so yeah, just if you read through the article, I just created this other category. Please um, trying to add it. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes also find what channel they're using. That's perfect, and add a comment. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can create as many column as you want. I would say now, I created those, but if you see other really important information that you want to add, please, you know, by any means, add it.
So I think one useful thing, now, I mean, we have in here lots of columns in here, but the comments. I think that maybe I will try to go through some of these and just make a little bit summary.
Mm,
In relevance to what we're doing, and I will try to spend time on that. Okay.
sounds
Uh,
good.
yeah.
Thank you.
So in other words, sort of curating the list of curators.
Yeah,
But
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's a
People are welcome to do
cool.
that. Everyone should do that if you're interested, if you have time.
Yeah, that's a really cool exercise. I think I've been interested in the idea of, and I think it's cool to see how this works here.
Yeah.
There's that feeling of reading something, leaving a note, then allowing somebody else to follow on from your note, and
Sure.
then adding a
Yeah.
summary, and then that
Yeah.
like doing that collective researching thing.
And maybe that can go in one cell. Maybe it's going to have a lot of text in some cases, but it could be in one cell, right? And yeah, I'll even know, hey, if someone can need follow up on XYZ, that would be really helpful, I think. Yeah, cool. One other
I'm
thing,
gonna
I'm
check
just
if. Oh, nice.
sorry. Um,
Oh,
it's kind of heartening to see so many groups existing.
Mm.
And on the other hand, a lot of them have been in existence for years, and in that sense, our project is a new project. So I think it's good, but maybe it really is a good role for our project to be more of the meta level, trying to unify a lot of these other initiatives in some way. That could be, an important role, right?
Mm.
I created the follow-up action. So what would you say, David, would be the follow-up action? So it would be like investigate more or find key people, right?
Find the data format, blah 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 blah. Um, funding, all these sort of things. Are they in danger? Are they losing their funding, because of U.S. government? That kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. That works.
Yeah. I think this is starting to take shape. But what I think we have in this data group, I think we mostly have like data portals.
Yeah.
And so maybe if we want to use the same spreadsheet, because maybe it's just easier, it could also be that we have the different like their functions basically, like what do they do? And I think here we have mostly like data aggregators.
Yeah.
So data aggregator or like data portal. But then what
Mm-hmm.
about the maybe what I was showing in the mural? So like maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
easier that we all work in the same spreadsheets, especially because like who are the because I think that what we have is mostly like the controllers and then the owners. But maybe we can find out who are the people who are the funders. And the funders they might be it might be a different groups. So if you go into
Mm-hmm.
the mural of a previous session, we started to have some really interesting leads. Where was it? Here. So we had several conversations that were really rich conversation that we had. I think, Jody, I think in your subgroup you started to talk about this, right?
Yeah, we did. I think,
And so,
and
yeah.
the reason for conversation is also because Kelsey brought up a good point that we're kind of looking at points of leverage, and if there's
Mm-hmm,
already if we're already connected in one way or another, then
mm-hmm,
it actually gives us a higher chance for
Mm-hmm.
to tap into that network.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's kind of finding like where's the 80/20 where we can we get like 80% of impact by just focusing on that top 20.
um,
yeah.
yes. I think there's a couple of places in the UK that um
Mm-hmm.
think would be interested.
Mm-hmm.
What comes to your mind? Like the Welcome Trust,
It,
maybe? Or
exactly, yeah, welcome. And then there's a organization within there, Land Body Ecologies. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's, yeah, Land Body Ecologies. That's the one I'm thinking of mostly. I know that they've had like a 3 year, so maybe the project is just finished,
Mm-hmm.
but through that, I'm in touch with somebody as well that does like, was it climate talks,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
climate Talks UK or
Mm.
Earth talks?
Mhm.
Looks good.
And those, do you think they will be funders, or this is a project that they have funded already?
Yeah, so I think Welcome Trust definitely would be, they have grants occasionally, like quite regularly through the year on different projects. And technically, we're doing like, I remember reading a call about geospatial data, but that was with the UK government, that was different. But it's that thing of like reading a term and being like, what is this and why is there so much funding for it? And then it's basically like numbers on everything in our world,
Wow.
which is a bit scary, the geospatial like commercializing thing. But that's effectively what we're doing, which is helpful. So it's like trying to shift the balance. So let's see.
And so these are the groups. Okay, these are the groups that they will. And these are the name of the people. There you go.
Early warning decision system for climate sensitive vector activity and vector-borne disease risk assessment. So that's one example of a type of project. So then it's like climate sensitive vector activity. Here's a previous project that's been here. So then it's if we've got a weather perspective or environmental perspective, that could maybe join up with a group doing more ecology or epidemiology. Yeah, that's exactly. It's always good to see a graph.
Oh, so it's a network of university and our trust is one of the hub. Okay.
So exactly, yeah,
Oh.
funded by Wellcome and then branching out across loads. So Invisible Flock, I remember hearing about that group because they do like science, maybe interpretations through art and exhibitions.
Interesting.
That's one of those groups that you see and it's like, oh, this is great to see that this is happening.
I just
Okay, I'm trying
wanted
to.
sidetrack a bit. Does anyone know people in the family offices that are interested in investing in climate research? Um, I'm asking because I think in April there is a family office forum that's going to happen in Singapore. So they go around the world though. I think London will be in September. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's one in Japan as well. But I was just wondering if you all know anyone maybe yeah, with keen to push on with some funding, maybe someone can meet up with them if they know, make a introduction and talk to them. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very soon. Okay.
So I asked because there were two family offices in there that are interested that does like I mean one of them was funding green energy and I think the other one was on some sustainability efforts. So yeah. But the only thing is it's very hard to
Get
because
in.
everything's all incognito, so you can't exactly know them. So if you all know anyone like personally who might be going, it's a good thing to say hi. Yeah.
It's one of those like kind of understated gathering that has a lot of wealth,
A
but
lot.
it's hard to get into so that they yeah.
Yeah, apparently you need to have 150 million
The inside.
more of assets
Wow.
before you actually get invited for free. Yeah.
We just gotta work on it. Me family, come on.
Okay. Organized by Prestel and partners. So maybe it's
Yes.
also possible if we can find those guys, Prestel and partner, maybe they might be the
It's a good thing to show
Yeah,
up.
I spoke to the lady who is who's gathering people to come for the event. Yeah. So you have like 3,000 over pounds. You can go in as an invite, but if you want to speak, um, either on as a presenter or a panelist or roundtable, that's between 12,000 to 27,000 pounds. So if
Mhm.
anyone had that kind of access, I think that would be awesome to meet these people that yeah.
Yeah. What is beautiful with the family office is that they are more flexible and they are faster than big organizations in terms to fund project. And sometimes
Yeah.
some of them, they can also be willing to be quite low profile in my experience. It means that
Yeah.
they don't need to have their logos everywhere. They just, they want to help and they have lots of funds and yeah, they can deploy the funds quite fast as well.
Yeah. And I know usually when they do make an investment, it's usually about something they're very passionate about. So I think it's a good thing to reach out to. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know anybody who's-
Well, I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm looking at the application to attend, and of course,
Mhm.
there's a fee, but I think there's probably a waiver for NGOs and organizations and academic things. So, um, you know, definitely it's worth looking into it. But the
Yeah.
best of obviously would be to be invited
Okay.
as a guest of somebody.
Mm.
I think,
Mhm.
you know. Um, so
Oh, there's London. No, okay, there's no Japan, but there's a few. Yeah.
as a solution provider, so there's two categories of attendees: as a single family office or wealth owner, or as a solution provider. And I think for us, we would be like solution provider. But of course,
So so the catch is if you were to go in as a speaker, so what I was told is then the organizers, president and partners would introduce you as that particular solution provider. And in that event itself, no other companies who's doing the same solutions can actually interact with the guests to sell their services. They only can do like casual interaction, but to go to service provider, you'll be the only one. So I guess that was a nice catch to like pay 12,000 to 27,000 pounds, right? To be
Right.
exclusively the provider to go to.
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, interesting. Um,
Yeah. So I guess if you have more of such opportunities, and then we have also like a calendar, we can try to say, okay, well, we can give it a go. We can send a, can prepare a PDF presenting what we have done. So for example, like the
Mhm,
results of this hackathon,
yeah,
even
mhm,
if you have a simple demo or if you have even just a big spreadsheet of the other project and start to download some of the backends of the
yeah,
data that the other people have done using our system, then we can say we have something to show. We can say, okay, we're collecting the data from other websites, we're making it archive in a more safe way for the longer term. And if we can get funding, we could do that on a bigger scale. And we could do this in a more
yeah,
reliable way. And some of us could actually start to dedicate more of their time to do that on a more like professional base.
yeah.
yeah.
Sounds
Um,
awesome.
It's interesting. Yeah, I'm looking.
Maybe on a
Yeah,
separate note, I don't know if that may have any relation to this. So I went for another sustainability talk the other day, and so CDL, which is one of the real estate companies in Singapore, they are known to be one of the forefront in sustainability because they do a lot of investment in renewable energies and been doing it for like 20 over years. So at this point in time, apparently the CSO is actually looking for people to gather data. She didn't and do data analysis. Um, but she didn't explain further because it was just a very brief conversation. But just putting out there for if some reason, if we think that maybe we can approach her and speak with her, because she's been doing it for a very long time, maybe it could be a nice ally to have.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Anyway, this event, it looks like it's not really set up for people to go there and ask for money, right?
uh, no, no, right. Yeah.
But
Apparently they hate that. So it's just about
we
getting to
can help
know
you
them.
manage your funding and organize your, foundation and all this stuff, right? So
Yeah.
great if you just stand outside with a cup.
Please,
Or is it,
please, save the
or is
data.
it type like you go and you say your thing and then hope that they come and approach you? But
Yeah, as a networking
that's
thing,
the
you know, somehow to get invited somehow as a guest, and just talk. I mean, I know, says, are you probably good at that, right? You go in and just without being pushy, get in the room.
Amazing. And I don't drink alcohol. I make sure that they do, and then we talk, and yeah, yeah.
Right.
But
Anyway, so
uh,
that's but there are these, it's good to know the funding organizations, and there is a lot, and I think it's true that government EU probably has stronger funding platforms for these things, but as you know, these things are so structured, and so many deliverables and so many requirements for qualifying as an institution and stuff is a little bit difficult. But the other foundations, and I think family funds and other foundations are probably yes, more applicable for what we're trying to do if we can find more interesting.
Um, so one more way of probably getting traction is I'm not sure how it is for other countries, but in Singapore there's a lot of like hackathons like from governments because they're always
Mm,
on the lookout for new technology to invest in and incubate. So what happens in this place is usually they have VCs coming in as well to listen in and also be the judging panel. Um,
mm,
I think it's also a good marketing platform. I mean, the money you win is probably not a lot, like maybe 50 or $100,000, but
mhm,
to actually open the space like like a free marketing platform, like, hey, this is what we are doing. Um, they may be interested and come approach you. Yeah. So I did one hackathon last time for app, and we didn't win anything, but actually a VC came up to us and said like, hey, we're interested. And then next thing we know, we have a few other people who came up to us. So I thought that was a good way to market yourself if we don't want to spend any marketing dollars. So something to think about. Like, yeah, I think they have one coming up in I think May and October, or yeah. So
mm. Okay.
Oh, did Caesar just disappear?
yeah. So,
Mm, disconnect. Oh, there we go. Which hackathon are you looking at, by the way?
there's a sustainability challenge once. I think there's two coming up.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
because
awesome.
it's such a big hype, right? So they will always like market this and stuff like that. So um whether you win or not, I think it's a good visibility and also a good way to maybe reach out to people that we are looking for funding in a non like aggressive way. Yeah.
Mhm. Mm.
Yeah, let me look for it now.
Mm.
But is it a big thing in the US in the EU as well? And Nigeria to have like small little competitions like that?
Yeah, I think we have. It's interesting. It's like I think so because I'm studying Lissi at two universities currently. I've been involved in a few hackathons and a handful in the last year and a bit.
Mm.
And there's more that you hear about around as well. Then are they being organized by visitors to a university or by a company that's looking to get new insight in? Um, I think there's a few on like Eventbrite is one of those websites that you'll find hackathons on. Um, but I did one with an organization, what was it called? Zeal X, and they had this interesting thing about different name, not Zeal X. Yeah, but they were doing a thing about like super abundant and AI technology, which I think relates to climate in some ways, depending on how you go about using solar and wind. But
Mm.
yeah,
Where's the
more organized hackathons that look towards like developing potential solutions or tools. There's a weird group, SOTA, School of.
okay. I just sent one Jody that's happening in from May to October. That's in partnership with the National Institute for Training and Research, and University of Geneva and a couple of tertiary institutions and universities.
Hmm. And those we can bring our own topic, or we have to follow the topic that's because I can see it's a Global Green Economic Foundation, so it's got to be about economy, or could it be about the environment in general? Or they
This
have a
one is
set topic?
for SDG
SDG.
goal. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, this could be a line. It could be a line, right?
yeah. No prep work, coding, and programming skill set required. That sounds like you. Okay, and so you can freely choose the challenge topics according to your interests. Yeah, and form an interdisciplinary innovation team online. Yeah. Okay.
Does anybody know Christina Lee, who's listed at the bottom as the founder of Global Green Economic Foundation? I wonder where she's from.
Let's
You know?
see. I'll help you find
Singapore?
Christina Lee.
Oh, look, um,
I don't know her, but I know people who know her.
Yeah, yeah. So
Let
anyway,
me
that's a
connect.
way to somehow network and then look at the supporters and the partners, right? So yeah, great. Hmm. I wonder who this organization Women for Green is. Do you know them? They're one of the partners, education
Women for
partners.
Women for Green.
Trying to see the webpage. Yeah. Women for Green.
Women Green Business Initiative.
Mhm. Again, Christina Lee is there and other people are there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of an interesting potential network as well.
Interesting. Yeah, and it's part of CDL. And I mean, I know
Oh,
CDL has
okay.
actual location for these.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there's the Singapore Sustainability Academy, right? That is there. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
okay, let's reach out and say hi.
Why not?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so it seems that um, we start to have a good amount of uh, like groups that are interesting. I also shared some of the things that are like really similar to what we're trying to do. One is called the data plus screening tool.
Mhm.
The name isn't really good marketing, but I think they're doing a really good job. So if you go there, they have a similar like approach, I think, to us at scraping data, and
Yeah.
they also like sort of like a meta group.
Mm.
So they meet twice a week on Zoom. They talk to Slack, email, Signal, and they have this database screening
Mhm.
tool, if you go.
Mhm.
I think it's out of all the things that I've seen so far, I think it's the most similar to us, data plus screening tool. But I think they are also
Mhm.
based on Airtable. So if you go here, you can see this is Airtable. This is how they save their data. And even in the spirit, I think it's very similar to us. If you go onto the get involved,
Mhm. Mm.
I can see on their website, yeah, they have their archive data and then they have actual tools that were duplicated. So like the
Mm.
EJ screen, future risk index, all these were actually taken from the different government organizations that took them down. I think he's frozen.
Hmm. This is
Yeah.
well organized. I'm looking at their, maybe it's a similar page. Yeah, archive data. Well organized, right? Mm.
Yeah, it's good because I think in the context of say the US, then because all of
Mm.
these pages were disappearing, then the immediate action was to just duplicate it. And it's
Right.
good that they have multiple in different places.
Mm-hmm. And it's very United States focused, right? Almost.
Yeah.
So, uh, which is good, but useful. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's good to talk to
Ooh.
them, saying, hey, we want to try to do something like this on a global basis, and
Mm.
see if there's, anyway, certainly talk with them, and
Yeah.
try to connect.
I'm also thinking like now that we can see the big picture together, like where's the gap that we need to be serving in?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting thing. It seems like all of these platforms have um like a small audience base. I'm thinking
Mm.
of. I'm thinking of like in parallel, the company I work with is in like bio manufacturing, like clinical therapies, but then you get all of these like software companies that are now getting into like data management or
Yeah.
so all of that databasing business,
Mm.
but it's like different
Sorry,
things doing the same
my
thing.
connection keeps dropping.
Mm. All good.
And I think it
Mm.
probably works well for us to be
Mm.
doing different but the same and also shining a light on another place where somebody else is doing similar in a
Mm.
different way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like the IT network that we've inherited.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that like monopoly is the picture, and then you end up with like Apple and Microsoft. But then
Mm.
Linux is preferred by a lot of people.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hopefully, we can do it differently.
Interesting. So
Yep.
it's a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people doing this, and mm, cool.
Mm. I think with like immediate need and urgencies, the comforting thing is that like everyone who is needed to act now have come to act now. So like what timeline do we want to focus on as well?
My perception is that a lot of people are doing the work of backing up the data, but they are using very fragmented systems. And so, because every time you build such a system, the data infrastructure you need is you need to have your own servers. And because you want to make the data searchable, then you use I don't know, an SQL database or Postgres database, and everybody ends up making like the spreadsheets. Um, but it seems it's not so useful for the bigger picture. In America, they're very focused on America right now. And so I feel like it would take a lot of time and a lot of patience to sort of aggregate all of them. But I
Mm.
think that's what needs to be done like in a shorter term. But on the longer term, what is going to be most helpful is if this data is also formatted in a way that it's standardized. So let's say, for example, you want to correlate like um, I don't know, you see like a data set of water acid rain that I think that David brought in, or sun activity. Those data sets that can seem to be disconnected, uh, I think this would be the strength, is to have a place where all these are in one place. So when you're searching for, say, connecting, does sun activity have an influence on the acidity of the rain, or maybe something that we don't naturally like connect? Then having a place where you can connect these things, I think that would be the power of such a platform. If you can build something that can last for a very long time of seemingly disconnected topic. we know it's a climate connected, but it's still like remotely connected.
Mm.
I want to be conscious with all of you guys' time. If you guys want to stay, please do.
Yeah.
I think that we've done a really good job at aggregating, for like immediate search. Like we search like, okay, who is collecting climate data, and now we have a first view. Either what we could do, let's say maybe some of us we want to focus on collecting some of the data samples. So not just to see which are the organizations, but what is the real nature of the data, to go deeper and collect some of the data sets, whether it's an Excel file or a CSV file or some exotic format. With Jody, we did some of that, quite a bit of that for the first hackathon.
Mm. Yeah.
And then maybe another group of people could look more into like the funding. So what are the opportunities and who is willing to support some of the work that we do? So like who is providing the data and then like who's willing to support it. I think if we continue to work on this big spreadsheet that we have and explore those two aspects, I think it's already an interesting resource that we would have built not just for ourselves, but also for the other group doing the same thing as what we do. So when we enter in discussion with them, we can tell them like, this is the other group doing similar work as what you do, what you do. And this is the funding, and maybe we can work together even, like to apply to grants, so we can enter conversation with them and learn from each other.
Mm. Yeah, I realized because we have I think the ask for the different groups there was some like crossover, right? We're essentially doing searching for the same thing in our different spaces. So there's quite but that's also a good thing because then we're aligned in what we're looking at. And say we had some old lists. I mean all of this I reckon is quite similar. Then this is
Yeah,
just networks. And there were like some foundations that we took from the network chart that you had. So we can add to it.
definitely.
And I think in terms of
I
where
mean,
it's
merge.
up to us if we wanna collate it in one like mega sheet. Because now you have one on like the environmental data groups and that has also like funders or you can pull out into the one that we have on like partner foundations that we can look at including individuals actually. I reckon that'd be interesting to split out. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
what we had, I mean I don't think it's complete but like a work in progress. We think it's easier if you look at it this way. We
maybe
also,
we should be merging those, I feel.
yeah, definitely we should.
So maybe if we merge those, and then you
Where,
see on the
where,
left side is data aggregate.
Sorry, Ezri, yeah?
where exactly was that? I'm looking through the Notion. It's in the Notion that you're just
It's
showing?
under the social connectors because I did like group pages.
Group pages by word.
Yeah.
Connectors. I see. Okay.
Mm.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
On the left side, we have data aggregator, funder, art, hackathon. I guess if we just merge the group that we already that you
Hmm.
already have there, and we just on the left side on the function, we say like maybe like communication group or like informal network. Then maybe that's a way that we can have this. Look, we bring it all into the same place. I think that would make it more easy to manage and review. And maybe this is also where like identifying key people is going to be really most useful. But I think there's only like a handful of people actually are really active and committed to this space.
Okay. So it could look like two lists. One is almost more of on the organizational level, and then the other one's like a contact list.
Hmm.
You think it's preferable to have two lists or to have this
Or
a
one mailing list.
column?
Yeah,
or
or
in
we
the case
can
in which you have the contacts, because
yeah.
you might, like this, you could see some pattern
Okay.
appear, like, oh, this person is part of this tree organization, or he's in this university and he's in an NGO and he's got a business, that is also like selling the data.
Yeah.
We might start to see like, oh, okay, how do they financially also like function? Like, oh, they get a grant from the university, and then they have an NGO to distribute the data, or they have a company where they have to like do like data services, and so you can
Mm,
start to understand like, oh, this is how they can make a living as well.
I
Yeah, this
guess
kind of work
so.
that they do.
Yeah. Usually, because there is a way you can, through Notion, they have this thing called relations. So
Yep.
databases that connect to one another.
Yeah, yeah,
Could be a people directory and organization directory.
That
yeah,
sounds like
yeah,
a really good way to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then it would be environmental data people. That's
Yeah.
the other directory.
Kind of. Yes.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay.
So then the key people, then we can replace the key people column by a relationship to another database, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Okay, I can set it up now and like make a small video to explain how to either like enter a person. As like this, we can start to. For those of you who, if you're not super familiar with Notion, like this, you understand like, oh, okay, there's two database. Like this is more clear. So
Mm,
I'll do a small video now tutorial to explain like how relational database function.
okay. And I think Elvina, what you suggested also like a presentation deck for us to be ready to share to people. That's
It's a very good.
we had like
I,
the previous deck, but like just further refinement on it. Help
Mhm.
to do that as well.
We have a one pager that can be
Yeah.
extended, and it's a Google Doc. So I can post it in the. I think it's in the
Oh,
field note. Let me share it. But it's very simple, just the one page.
yep,
Mm,
Uh,
something nice.
um,
Yeah, if you need help
and
refining the deck or, you know, I can help as well. I mean, sorry, what's my action item? I don't know what am I supposed to do now. Yeah.
maybe I think you had a good intuition and a good nose for like looking for like funding. Maybe if you leave the effort on like, okay, trying to find maybe like 20 different potential funders. Jody was just mentioning that we already have like a database that we can merge, and we just put on the column on the left side, these are like funders. So if we can merge, um, and then if you can
mm.
add more,
Let
especially
me
because because you're looking from perspective from Singapore, and then David, you're in Europe, and so like
Mm.
if you have perspective from Europe, I think that's very useful.
you want me
And
to
I think
type it
David,
in here? Like if you
yeah,
want
I
to
was
check out the
thinking that
task.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll try and open some files and do mm,
uh-huh,
Mhm. Yeah.
I wonder. I was either if it's put them on a plot. I don't know if that's ideal, or see if you how to like combine a couple of them. But yeah, I'll open some files and see what they look like.
mhm. So, yeah, I'm trying to add the thing that you just added into the chat and just paste on it. Like the Geological Society, uh,
Mm,
Geological Society of London. Okay.
Yeah, we could do
Mm,
a conference in June. I think
Okay.
it's June or July. July.
mhm.
Caesar, are you cool if I do your one page into like a PowerPoint slide, so some pictures, and I'll send it you guys to vet first before I use it?
Yes, actually, we have slides from the last hackathon that we have, which I guess would
Mm,
naturally be the source material for this like broader deck.
okay.
Um,
mm,
so that could be a good place to start. Like, this, you don't have to create it from start.
mm,
All right.
Um, yeah.
mm.
Okay, now I'll use this
Oh,
first. I mean, it's a two
I'm really
pages, so it's
sorry.
okay.
I'm yeah. I'm running out of battery. I'm outside. I don't know. So I will be falling off the call, unfortunately.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I look for people
Yeah.
who's willing to give money. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Easy, easy stuff.
It's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, great. I think that's good.
Yeah. I
Anything,
think
so I think these are the points I'm seeing. Anything else? Like, yeah, David, SB, what else do you reckon we should look at this run?
Hmm. Well, one thing that's going in my mind is simply to try to structure it somehow with which looks like the most complete and far along and general ones, as opposed to very specific, regional specific, or something specific, just to get a better conceptual mapping of what's there. So
mhm.
as I go,
Okay,
that's what I want to do. I'm going to be
okay. I think
reading
that's good because
somehow
now you can see the big picture. So it's like, what do we focus it on?
a well-developed major initiative versus
Mm,
interesting and effective, but maybe not so major initiative, that kind of thing. So uh,
mm,
Mm.
just to sort of see and where we can fit in on that. So
okay.
yeah.
Have you seen Eric Berlo? Because maybe this is something for Alvina, because Eric Berlo, I think in his video, he
Uh-huh.
outlined US funders. So there's mostly like US funders,
Uh-huh.
but he has a whole like data visualization
Yes,
of
he has an open source
Uh,
data like
yeah.
tracker of climate finance. So it's just
Oh.
loading now. But it's really cool because they mapped out
well,
this is climate relevant companies and nonprofits funded in the past 5 years. And you can actually go through like keywords, um, and even like which one's for profit, which one's not non-profit. There's a lot of details, which is quite amazing.
this is great. Who did this?
Eric
Uh,
Berlow. So they're part of a company called Vibrant
Vibrant data.
Labs. Oh, geez. I need access. Vibrant Data Labs, and
Very well done.
they actually do this like an open source-ish thing.
Mhm.
So if you
Great.
really wanted to tap into like the technology behind it, I think
Mhm.
they do give it out upon request. And
Well,
they have a
We
very small
did
team.
an interview with him.
Yeah,
you
they have
know,
a small team, but like they move very quickly because of that. And how they are funded also, I mean, they have these key datas and then they have
mm,
certain client projects and they kind of find that win-win location where
I see.
they do it for the companies while requesting, oh, can this actually be shared?
Mm,
Uh,
good.
yeah, so they have details about how to use this map, questions, where the
Mhm.
data comes from. It's pretty good.
Is this all like hosted on a website? The
Yeah,
interface
yeah. I'll share
weird.
it with the chat and then you can take a look. Let's see. So we are connected to Eric. We've
Mhm.
spoken to him.
Mhm. Great.
Yeah.
Vibrant data.
Yeah.
But also has a dashboard design, which is very useful, conceptual
Yeah.
dashboard.
And I
Okay.
think
Take this
it's a good
dashboard
place
to
to
our data
imagine.
set, data to a
Yeah.
data set, global. And this is like finance, but it just make the same kind of map with, but it's about the data sets.
Yeah.
That's right. What he was saying in the interview is that number of his source and stream, because
Mm.
there's a bunch of databases which are from the government where they say this is how much they allocate for each of the grants. These are public data. And he's saying in the interview that we have a thing that a lot of those data sets are going to disappear. So he's going to lose a bunch of his source data.
Mm.
So it's gonna be harder for him to compile this information that he's been building
Yeah.
for years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an urgency to it.
So I have to. I'm falling off the battery, so I'm unfortunately I have to go, guys. But I will see you again in about 24 hours. So I guess we gather again and see how
Yeah.
far we can go. And
Yeah.
yeah, be connected
I,
on Slack.
yeah, I think what would help, like, for all of us to share what we wanna work on, and then
Yeah.
anytime we need help, just call out on Slack, and
But
then we can have our extra hands on it to do it together.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Yeah, sounds good.
take care.
Great.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you
Thank you.
guys. Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Bye, guys.
And I'll add it on the Slack, like
Okay.
Okay, sure.
the track, the Kanban, so you can add it in. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Jody, sorry, before we dropped off,
Mhm.
I just want to ask you about the funders, right? The key people you want me to look at is through the mural. Is
Oh,
that the
I
one?
think there's two sources. One will be the mural, and then one is on Notion as well.
Okay,
So
I'll go find them.
yeah, the ones that we haven't added in yet, we can on the mural we can transfer it to the Notion.
Okay, let me go look for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
But
you.
I think most of the group that you have in the Miro board, we've already put them into the other database that you can connect with the
Some
number
of
two website.
them. Yeah.
I think that's what
Not
yeah.
all yet, not perfect. So
No,
we
no,
have
no,
a directory
no.
and yeah. Avina, money's all on you.
No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah, guys.
We'll see how. All right, see you guys.
We
Bye-bye.
believe you.
Yeah, this
Oh,
Right.
Cool. Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you.
David. And like it's quite late on your side, right?
Yeah, I'm going straight to bed now.
Yeah. What
I've
was your
got
biggest like discovery today?
um there's an organization that Al Gore, I forgot the name, what was it called? Um and I think it's okay, that I think this is my biggest discovery today because that one is it's like you see an organization, I feel a similar way about the Bill and Melinda Gates one.
Mm-hmm.
This one's called Climate Trace.
Oh yeah, Climate Trace is amazing. They are also
Okay.
really well funded.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like they're huge and they're doing a lot of the data connecting work
I
that
don't
we're
know if
looking
I'm correct to say that they're funded by like the Amazon. I'm not too sure.
exactly. Yeah, they're co-founded by Al Gore. And then
I'm
I
not
saw
sure.
a couple of names in there as well that made me think, how do we
Oh
feel about,
yeah,
yeah, it made
yeah,
me ask a couple of questions.
yeah.
But
Climate
I think
Trace is really
the Vibrant, I love the name of it. And then
Vibrant
I've
Data
just now
Labs.
found some articles on like the EPA
Mm,
letter to the American public. I think I'd heard more about the healthcare and like social cuts,
yeah.
um, but hadn't looked into the climate related things. Um, but it sounds like America as a nation just wants to deny climate as like
Unfortunately, I think it's sad, right? Because there's so many individuals and organizations looking at it, but when the country just says nope, then they screw up the entire ecosystem.
How about for you, Jody? What's been
I think
encouraging?
like recognizing that so many people are looking at it is heartening, but then it also goes to show like um how disconnected we are still, right? It's still very fragmented. So it's like how do you bring pull the picture closer together? Like I think what the Vibrant Data Labs did with the climate finance tracker is really amazing, but like it's not easy. I'm sure like it took them a really long time and uh to collate this to such detail, and it's not easy to maintain.
Yeah,
And I'm thinking we're looking at different model because they have like 8 people building this list, and that's their full-time job essentially. But we're
yeah,
looking at a model where everyone's participating, and hopefully if we have certain tools that help us scrape uh that level can have a lower amount of effort. I think being able to set the system right is important, but then eventually making sure that everyone can easily participate is important as well.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
see that.
and I think what you asked earlier about like finding who are the people who will be using this data, like you're saying that, now they're like very niche and small groups. But like that's also because it's so hard to understand the data, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, like you really need to put time into like finding the file sources and then going through it.
even after you find the file sources, you're like, okay, what do I open this with?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, exactly that.
yeah, I reckon that's probably a big problem that causes a disconnect because the agencies who come up with these, they have their own tools and they're like, yeah, I don't care about everyone else. I'm just gonna read it this way. So that's also an opportunity because then like the everyday people can't really access the data. They'd be like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly. And then it creates that thing of like the stories or the encounters people have don't get caught up in the conversation because it doesn't go to the right forum. And so
Yeah.
if we can make different forums, then we can change that relationship to evidence.
Yeah. So I don't know like the end goal or what that might look like. It's not gonna be easy, but it would be good to find a way to bridge it all together.
That exactly. That's the fascinating thing about all of this. I think yeah, it's clear that we're choosing to do something that's definitely not easy, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
Um, and then meeting more people that are thinking about it as well
Yeah.
means that it just, finds its way.
Yeah. And the good thing is there's also so many good examples to learn from already.
Mm,
But it's just making sure that if they're already doing it right, then how do we make sure that we let them continue to do it right and we support in a special way as well.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's what's cool about like it's almost like the the problem statement exists, but then I think there's almost like a tech. So because with my course, I've been
Mhm.
thinking more about and I struggle with this part of it, like the value proposition, like
Mm.
saying clearly. Um,
Yeah.
and I think because of the torrent
Mm.
aspect of it,
That's
it's
true.
almost like it's reminding us that there's a deeper purpose for a technology that we used for like MP3s
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
films and games maybe. Um, or that you can, yeah, use a backbone technology that might have been partially appreciated in a way that can.
Yeah.
But then that question, like we said, of like funding and when you're doing these things, where do you position it so that there's remuneration, so that it's able to be supported? How does that work?
That's true. I like going back, say like climate trace, right? A good thing is that they also do the visualization part. They put the map alongside with being able to download data. So like
Hmm.
having both options accessible on one side is important because you understand the data first and then you download what you need.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like you're able to review it first, check
Yeah,
that it's what you want, and then it's like it downloading it is effectively saying, all right, cool, I want to use what I've read here with something else.
yeah,
Like it encourages you to find other things to use it with.
yeah. So I think
Mm.
that that's something we can look into, like
Yeah.
the user
Is this
experience.
the kind of things you do
Hmm.
for your work or have been doing?
Yeah, my work is also in like UX design. So it's always coming back to like, oh, who are we trying to serve?
Mm,
Right? Like,
yeah.
and I feel right now because our timeline is quite flexible, the people we serve now and the people we serve in 2 to 3 years might look very different. Because I think there's a layer that's addressed from urgency and another that's more on what's important. What I feel now is because now we've discovered that actually a lot of people are doing what's needed for what's urgent, then we can focus on what's actually important in the longer term.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So then it allows you to build infrastructure and then
Yeah.
change the infrastructure for what's.
Yeah. Because now the thing with, say, whatever initiatives they've laid out is that um it's that it's really for the like short to medium term. Like if you save a website, there's only so much you can't be updating it already, right? It's like a dead database.
Mm, so then it becomes like a static PDF on the website that you save.
Yeah.
And
Hello. Yeah. It's late for the both of you, hey.
yeah, that's true. It's 2:30.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Yola,
I
is it
think I'm.
2:30 for you as well?
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna wake up at 11 or so. It's 2:30 here now.
Hi, Judy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah, I can. Sorry, my network got, and I've just been struggling to get back in since. Is the meeting over?
Yes, it is. But I can put you back in the loop. Don't worry.
Oh, we were talking about applying for funding, and I was looking at some. Is it just reaching out to initiatives or open to also applying to anything you see that relates to climate?
I reckon like if they have certain registrations that are straightforward, we definitely can do that to just reach out and be connected with the network.
Okay.
But if not, finding like the key personnel who are behind the efforts would be helpful.
Okay.
And then afterwards, I think what I'll also look at is just making sure whatever we communicate to the public and to these like investors are up to date. And because I feel slowly our value proposition is also shifting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like, oh, how do we regenerate that? But I think being able to see who these people are and then identifying the most important, like the top 10 that we should definitely tap into,
Yeah.
helpful.
Okay. I saw a couple just browsing through.
Yeah.
Let me share a link to one now. But this one, the age is quite limited. I think it's from 18 to 29 years. I just
Oh,
shared the link to
mm,
chat. I think the application is still open.
oh, cool.
I also saw this. Let me share.
Mm. 776. Interesting. Yeah, these are actually really good as well. Mm. 776 pretty strict. You gotta be 18 to 24.
Yeah, it's really strict. Yeah.
Sorry for being born too early.
I think I saw one on climate design grant. Let me share the link. Share.
Mhm. Yeah, now you make me feel like you should maybe parts of people, maybe hunting down people who fit in these groups will help.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a task for you. Can you okay, design funding window. Interesting. This Asia Climate Solutions grant. Oh, it's good. I mean, it happens to have the Singapore's Monetary Authority as well. maybe it helps to be Singaporean. The Rockefeller Foundation and the Australian government. That's great.
Yeah, I also saw the Rockefeller Foundation.
Oh yeah, they're really good. They have a few fellowship options. Yeah. Although I think for the Asia Climate Solutions, the only limitation is that they're really looking into specific fields right now,
Oh,
space solutions, etc. Okay. Yeah. With Rockefeller, they also said like you can easily just like join the community. So I yeah. And that's just to learn about future opportunities. Because now the applications are already closed.
closed.
Yeah. But definitely can reach out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. If anything, we'll just wait for next year. Yeah. Okay. Thank you both. I guess I'm gonna look at what we're sharing because there was the older slides and one pages, but they might not be ready for say like investors or whatnot. So I might work on refining that. And then if you can find like the key people,
Mm.
anything else, honestly, I feel like we have our own areas of interest that in the big picture they're all aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just deep dive in whatever space that we find ourselves in and then we can recalibrate again.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
just stay in the loop.
yeah.
Are there any areas that you guys feel like confused or worried about?
I think it's still a lot to take in. I'm new to this and there's just a lot of information. So I'm just like making sure I'm listening well to
Mm.
everything that's been said and going through like just looking at the notion, seeing what is being collected and understanding it properly. So yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was taking time looking at, oh, okay, funding. Let me see, just searching. And I was mostly seeing some in Africa that are still
Mm.
open, but I mean, I
That's
don't think
great.
you can apply for the ones in Africa because they were
You
specific.
can.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, I think that's good though. Like honestly, it's getting familiar with the space and knowing that
Mhm.
it's so complex because everyone's finding a solution in their own way. Uh,
Yeah.
but then like if we start seeing a meta problem and solution, that's even better. Like, oh, all these solutions are there, but they're not connected.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yay. Okay. I will we can reconnect again. And you can rest and maybe like when you wake up, I'll have something there and we can all build on top of it.
Alright, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I should rest. It's almost 3 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. Good night.
Right.